Welcome back, WNST, Towson, Baltimore, and Baltimore Positive. You know, sports is shut down right now, so I would be talking like Orioles. It would be Derby week. We'd have the Preakness coming up. I can pull my Preakness pin out on my Cole Roofing hat and keep the Preakness in Baltimore. We're just trying to get back out onto the streets, and I didn't even do my hair up. I mean, I need a haircut. My hair. But, you know, Dundalk hair, don't care because I got friends on. This guy I've known, I guess, about half my life, maybe a little bit more, as long as I've been on the radio. His last name will be famous to anyone in town that has ever bought produce or been anywhere in Dundalk or Highlandtown or Canton or Greektown or really all around town. Rob Santoni's been my friend forever. We have all sorts of Dundalk connections and friendships and of course, have spent time together at the Heritage Fair, sort of famously. And Rob, first things first, man, you're Weis Markets these days. You're the store manager, and you had a beautiful store. And I want to thank you for at the beginning of the COVID. I was trying to get you on the show, and you were super busy. And we were both masked up and wearing gloves. And you helped me do some shopping over at your place at the beginning of this thing. And I said I'd get you on, and I know how much Weis Markets does throughout the region, Pennsylvania, Maryland, throughout the area. We're doing all sorts of stuff with veterans and giving food away and being involved with things. But I just wanted to have you on because I think of all the frontline people out there, doctors and nurses and all that stuff, supermarket's the one thing we sort of all have in common. We've all had to go to a supermarket the last 6 weeks, and I think it's sort of the first place where we see the world has really changed, right? And I know it's been very, very stressful for everyone in your industry, right?
It is, Nestor. Thanks for having me on. And it's crazy times. I also have my hair long. It is. I wouldn't call it Dundalk hair like you did, but it is getting long.
Well, this is my Dundalk hair because we've all been sharing our 1985 graduate. This is what my hair looked like in 85. And, my friends over at Blondell Miller, I looked up Mark Miller. Mark's got my hair from right now. It's the 1985. This is Mark's hair from 1985. Right? So, I don't know what point we're going to get a haircut, but I am going to come back to your market with gloves and a mask on. And literally, you were the first market I went in where, I saw the plastic partitions and, everything. I was at Pizza John's, over the weekend for the first time in 6 weeks, and there's, plastic partitions up now. We've really changed everything, and we're not going back to the old way anytime soon.
Yeah, the world we live in right now is very different. I think there's going to be a couple takeaways from the way we go about our business and do business. There's been some positive things that, I feel have come out of this, as far as, human or our own, personal, safety, whether it's some sort of social distancing that is, will, manifest into something that stays around, whether it's, directional aisles or, whatever. But there's a lot of stuff out there. There's a lot of change doing different things, but all great things. It's amazing how there's a lot of smart people in this industry, and, I am by far the smartest, and some of these ideas and safety precautions that have come down from our home office have, they make your head spin. And when you think about it, it's like, wow, why don't we always do this? Or I would never have thought of that. Things like, we've got the plexiglass guards, we've got, some directionals throughout the store. We're opening up every other lane. We're sending associates to wash their hands every 30 minutes, and they're signing a log just to ensure that we're keeping them safe and our customers safe. We have the 6-foot rule, mask, and the gloves, and we're temp checking associates now before they punch the time clock, and we are cleaning carts and sanitizing carts at the front door.
Well, every supermarket I've been in has been impeccably clean. There's a whole different level of what used to be considered clean versus what is clean now, right?
Yeah, I'm not saying we're doing it, any better or worse than anybody. I think everybody is doing a stellar job. I've been to the Home Depot and Lowe's, and I've been to competition, and everybody is doing it at different levels, but very effective levels.
Well, I would say this your whole family, and it's impossible to put a guy named Santoni on the air in Baltimore without knowing your family and your father and your background. I mean, you grew up as a little boy in a market, right? I mean, this is all you've ever done, and sort of famously in Highlandtown, and now doing it for the Weis family of markets.
Yeah.
And you're right out in Bel Air Road, right across from what used to be Tully's for me, and behind the
Good
IHOP,
old
and right down the street from Jerry's, one of our great sponsors, and Jerry's Toyota. And so you're like right there in this brand new, beautiful shop. For your lifetime of seeing all of these things and wondering what would cause a run on a supermarket like Cabbage Patch Dolls, right? Like, I don't,
Right.
I think in the supermarket industry, you were in Highlandtown for a long time. You know about bread, milk, and toilet paper every time we're going to get 1 inch of snow, right? So you know what the line out the door looks like. But the safety thing's a whole different thing, I think, for you. And then all the distributors, I know the day I came into you, I'm like, are you going to have meat today? Are you going to have produce today? Are you going to have toilet paper today? That the streams of where this stuff comes from and the trucks it comes in on, that we've all been in a supermarket that hasn't had tissue or toilet paper or Clorox in the last
Right.
6 weeks. And this must make your head spin as a guy that has literally spent your whole life in supply and demand. I know you and I had some fun online 2 years ago about King syrup, where it comes from, right?
Right. No, it has certainly tested my leadership skills. It's certainly tested the patience and leadership of many of those, or most of those in Weis Markets organization, but especially here at Store 206, as it's referred to here in Fullerton, the brand new store. It's a big store.
See, I never call that Fullerton. I call Fullerton inside the Beltway because that's where the fireworks go, right?
Fullerton, Nottingham, it's whatever it is.
Yeah, my
address
address was Nottingham when I lived out by Buck Schoolhouse Road. And does anybody really call it Nottingham? I mean, I would call you Fullerton, right? I mean, it says Fullerton sort of on the plaza,
some
right?
call it Rosedale, but all the snowstorms I've seen, all the hurricanes, I have never ever have seen this. We've seen a run on stores where you're out of everything during, unfortunately, 9/11. We saw something, all the back-to-back 2-foot snowstorms, back in the 2010, 2012. I've seen it before, but there was always an end date. You knew that snow was going to melt, right? You knew that hurricane was going to pass. This is something different. We don't know where this is going to end. We talk about opening up the state in phases, and what is that going to look like? We don't know. You mentioned getting toilet tissue and paper towels in. Okay, we're doing great on meat. We're getting chicken and red meat. We have plenty of milk. We have plenty of eggs, but we don't have toilet tissue. And it's weird because a lot of us were saying we will run out of eggs, which we did not, because we thought, how fast can these little chicks lay these eggs, right? That's your first thought. Your first thought is, how fast can these chickens grow large enough to where they can be sent to the market?
Well, now it's about the people and the trucks and the things that get that egg to you,
right? So, yeah, that whole supply chain aspect with plants, some plants being shut down because of COVID for a short time, that strains other manufacturers that didn't have those customers that use that closed plant. But
not to mention that truck that brings it that now doesn't have it anymore, right? Literally.
Right. Yeah, exactly. But one of the biggest things is there's some manufacturers who will buy their packaging materials for their product one time, and they will have it on inventory for the whole year. And this run, worldwide on product, these companies have exhausted this packaging, and it's trying to get the packaging printed and delivered, because some of these companies are doing dual manufacturing right now. Those that may have made one thing are now making masks, or they may be making gloves, and companies like General Mills or Campbell's are not making their full variety of soups or cereals. They're focusing on their top sellers, their core flavors, just to get a mass quantity out to the most amount of customers.
So that means like chicken noodle and tomato and stuff like that, right?
Exactly.
Rob Santoni is here. He's with Weis Markets. You guys are always doing stuff, and I want to give you some oxygen for that. Military and seniors and I think for, and I don't, look, I've spent my whole life near Fullerton, and I would think there's plenty of seniors in that area. My mom, if she were alive, would still be one of those people, right, coming into your stores. And I know there's been so much concern for seniors and for like early morning opening and whatnot, and also military. And I know you do special days. So give me all the things that you guys actually do there, and then we'll get back into more of like sort of the world and how much this whole thing has changed, the whole industry, and I think how all of us are eating and shopping for sure.
Sure. Our senior and military discounts are still in effect. We don't have a senior hour in the morning. It's just we like to, I like to think we like to keep it as flexible as possible. Sometimes there's a short line before we open up with our new abbreviated hours. We used to open at 6 and close at 11. Now we open up at 7, and we're down to 8 p.m. now. Of course, that's
pretty typical. Like I think everybody's sort of doing that, right? I mean, everybody's shorter hours. Yeah,
but the lines out front of the building, 15 deep, have kind of like subsided, and people know what the routine is. I haven't had one senior question, why we're not doing it, or should we do it? I see them in here; they're shopping. The store is plenty big, and that part has not been a problem. Some other things we're doing for the we're talking about senior and military discounts. There's been a lot of goodwill and donations happening too. Not just from Weis Fullerton, but the entire Weis organization. We've donated $5,000 to the Student Outreach Program, which is a program as but an extension of Baltimore County Public Schools. That
Don Moeller and Johnny O will appreciate that.
yeah. That helps students who were used to getting free lunches and breakfasts at school, and that was their primary source. Now they have to rely on some central pickup locations like Parkville High School or Lock Raven High School, and Weis was able to donate $5,000 in gift cards to assist them during this time. We also have a couple food drives going on. We have a product food drive with one of the local stations. I don't know if I can say it. And we also have a monetary food drive going to benefit the Maryland Food Bank.
Yeah, I'm online. I'm reading up on all this stuff. You can find all of this stuff at Weis Markets. That's WEIS Markets. Everybody knows that. Making the wise choice. And, of course, Rob Santoni making a wise choice here coming on. And that tells all the stores are open 7 until 8 p.m. They got a store finder. You have My Wise. You get all the ways you can find everything. I don't know why it locates me at store number 89, but that's where my it comes up on the front of mine. But I'm coming to Fullerton.
89 is actually Arbutus.
All right, so it's the closest one to where I'm located. Fair enough.
I guess by mileage, sure.
Because I am downtown. You and I go back a long way. You talk about seeing all these things and the changes. The one thing I would say about coming into your store specifically is just how beautiful the produce is. I think it really does feel to me. And look, and I shop in all the places, even though I can never remember which number my wife put in the card from store to store, chain to chain. And I go into all of them, but it really does feel like there's like a competition, right? And amongst the markets to be cleaner and prettier and greener. And for me, I am I'm 52 years old. People say, well, how do you stay in shape? No, I eat a lot of produce. I eat a lot of blueberries and strawberries. And I do see in almost every store, the first thing when I go in are blueberries and strawberries and colors and greens in every market. I do feel like from a food standpoint in our country, for all the junk we eat, all the garbage, and I can tell you the aisles where the stuff that you have that I don't even go in because I don't eat anything in some of these aisles where processed foods are, that we really do, as a country, the first thing that markets want you to see is the fresh stuff and the corn and the summer and the peaches and the whatever. And it's the first thing I see when I come into your market. It's a beautiful green wall and how fresh and wet and lush it all is. It makes me want to dive in there and eat some lettuce. And I think that's a good message. So I know you're a runner. I know you put your distance in. You're way healthier than me, running marathons and whatnot. And I know you take it seriously. But it's not just your store. I think it's every store. And I think it probably began with Michelle Obama, saying, let's grow gardens. And I tell you what, if I'm ever the mayor of Baltimore, we're going to grow gardens because, feeding ourselves better is the first place that we get healthier and fight things like viruses,
Yeah. So, having fresh produce, as soon as you come in the door has been a mainstay in our industry for years. What's fresher than, your crisp greens, dripping, from the mister and the red apples and oranges right up front. That does set the tone. And, I'll tell you, Nestor, if it isn't fresh, okay, you've lost that customer. So it's very important to every chain store and independent out there that first impression is that first 30 feet. And, you're either going to nail it or you're not.
Well, you nailed it for me, and I appreciate you, and I know your time's short. You got to get back. I saw how busy you were. You're like, stop on by. You got a mask. You got gloves. You got a truck coming in. You got a customer. You got to give a refund. We got to look this item number up. What's that apple again? It's so. Every time I'm in a supermarket, I really, really do have. I run a business. I'm a small business. I've employed people and managed people and hired and fired and done all those things. When I see how markets have operated, all of you in the industry everywhere, I really am amazed by it. And the frontline people and, masking up and gloving up and making it safe and keeping the food. And my wife hadn't been in a market in 2 months, and I keep telling her, it's a little different. I'm like, next time you go in, it's going to be a little different. And, of course, my wife's, high risk, so we've tried to keep her out of the markets and stuff like that. But I think she'll be amazed when she does go back in how much things have changed and how quickly and seamlessly you guys have made it happen. So I appreciate the produce. When you get some toilet paper, I'm your friend, okay?
I've got some for you. I will tell you this. We talk about those that are out, on the front lines and, it goes without saying that, healthcare workers are, and the first responders, God bless them. They are the ultimate highest priority, the true, champions and heroes out there. But if you don't know, today is, since 1995, National Superhero Day, sponsored by Marvel Comics. So we're having a big celebration here at Weis Fullerton, and
nice.
We have associates dressed up, that's decorated, and we have Captain America, Spider-Man, and Supermarket Man running around the store and greeting customers and thanking our associates
from 6 feet away.
So, from 6 feet away, right.
Yeah, you and I took a selfie, and we were absolutely 6 feet away. And when the selfie came out, we both got abused on social media.
But we weren't that close for 15 minutes,
You got in behind me, and I went click. I didn't even elbow bump you.
I photobombed. So, we have phone. We're talking on the phone right now, so we must be okay, right?
I just want to make sure, right? I'll make sure I don't get accused. I got accused of there's no higher crime than not So, by the way, I was in a supermarket. I had a bad experience, not in a Weis, but in another supermarket in the last week where a dude got up on me. I was looking for dark chocolate, which you can't find. Looking for yeast, can't find. And I'm in that aisle, and a dude got up on me, talking out loud on a phone through his mask, and I'm like, "What are you doing?" I'm like 6 feet, and then he started sassing me and talking back to me, and I'm like, you know what? My wife's not going to want these semi-sweet. I just moved on my way. But I'm thinking some people, the supermarket's the one place. Give me 6 feet, right? It's the only thing I'm doing today. I'm going out. I'm wearing a mask. I'm going to stay 6 feet from you. You're going to stay 6 feet from me. It's a new social crime getting up on somebody in aisle 9. It really is,
Not every box is 73,000 square feet like mine. We do have smaller stores like the former Mars stores that we purchase are very small boxes. They're a third my size. Not every, competitor has the same boxes, and, Home Depots and Lowe's, they're dealing with big boxes. So, when you walk in, you don't know how crowded it is, but, I am very, polite and, polite walking, around the store during the day. If I see two associates within 6 feet,
I just can't
I will
imagine
remind
if
them
I started sassing the guy back. I came home and said to my wife, I'm like, so now I'm going to yell back at the guy and call him, whatever I would call him in aisle 9 for getting too close. And then,
Right.
And I'm like, you know what? I mean, the next thing I know, I got to go see Rob, the store manager. And I'm like, dude, just give me 2 minutes to figure out my dark chocolate chips, and I'll be on my way. You know what I mean?
It's been difficult, especially our meat department and dairy, where these great associates are stocking what we call live trucks, product that came in that morning, and it comes in the morning, and it certainly can't stand around for 12 hours because of the demand right now. But these folks are on the floor stocking, and they have, maybe some customers trying to reach for over them, but now in the beginning that was difficult. But right now we block off the area that they're working. Customers totally understand it. They will ask for what they want, and for the most part, I have seen the community, society change their habits. And it doesn't take long to change your habit, but it takes a little bit of time, but their customers are very respectful as my people are stocking now, and they'll ask for things and really appreciate the jobs that they're doing and understanding the the why behind giving them the space.
Yeah, I don't think anybody asks why anymore right now. They don't say, why don't you have this, or why don't you we are in a different world. Rob Santoni's here. He's been my friend for a long, long time. I know Weis Markets underwrites the Heritage Fair. I know it looks like we're not having a Heritage Fair or whatever weird stuff's going to be happening here this summer. I don't know. I mean, probably a little less fried dough is probably not so bad for me in the summer. But I will miss out on all the free beer and the camaraderie with you. And your wife and me and my wife getting a summer beer together. But hopefully we'll be able to do that again sometime soon. Appreciate the hospitality as always. I'll give my best to everybody over there. Store 2, give me the number again.
Store 206.
206. I want to make sure I get it right. Absolutely. In Fullerton. Mm-hmm. Take care of yourself. Love to your family as well. We miss them around here, Rob. Be well, all right?
Thank you, Nestor. You too.
Rob Santoni, my man. I don't know whether, if I said Dundalk, Highlandtown, there's no insult. East Side, East Baltimore. 2 East Baltimore guys getting together. He is a store manager at Weis in Fullerton, right on Bel Air Road. Across from Tully's, hon. Down the street from Jerry's. One of our great sponsors, Jerry's Toyota. My wife's Camry came from right there. Give my love to Paul and everybody over there. Bilbo. All right, you can find me, nasty at WNST.net. We're doing Baltimore Positives, tons of stuff with university presidents this week. Also the arts, we're getting around town, the B&O Museum, Museum of Industry, AVAM, one of my favorites, American Visionary Arts Museum, a few blocks from my home. In lieu of sports, we're telling good stories with friends of ours and local businesses like Weis, and encouraging folks to support your friends. Take care of your family. Wash your hands. Keep calm, stay local, and remain Baltimore positive.